Good morning, everyone. Let's look at your markets for today. We do have something interesting happening, so we'll look at the economic calendar first. So, obviously, there's been some um, speeches and stuff going on during the early morning hours when I was in bed. Not to worry about that, we should have seen some movement on it, but I'd prefer to sleep in that time. So we've got the Bank of England's Governor Bailey speaking as well in about 2.5 hours. That could potentially see us getting some volume for that. Then the US has some existing home sales later today at 4 my time, so it's GMT plus 2. And then this is the big one. So we've got Federal Chairman Jerome Powell testifying. Now that sounds like he's in trouble, doesn't it? Like he needs to keep himself out of jail for some reason, but that's what they call it. He's going to testify in front of the Committee of Financial Services to explain basically what he's been doing and all the steps that the Fed has taken. He needs to basically outline that for them. Now, this is going to be available to watch live. You can either click there, follow that link there, and then follow the link on that page again, which leads you to this page, which is just financialservices.house.gov/live/ and then you'll find it there. Or you can obviously watch it on YouTube as well. The Financial Services Committee has a YouTube channel, and that's going to be live at 4:30 my time, so it's in 9 hours. You could set the reminder as well, the basics for YouTube. So, I mean, that's happening later today, and the first part where he's going to testify is going to be pretty boring. He's just prepared a statement that he's going to read out to them, and that won't see much movement. The key thing to watch for is there's a second part that starts, and it's called a Q&A, where obviously they're going to start asking him questions specific to what they want to know and specific to the economy and the markets, etc. So the Q&A part tends to give us some volatility, but not like a strong trend necessarily. It could easily whipsaw, shoot up, then shoot down, and then shoot up again. It could easily cause whipsaws. So that's definitely something to watch out for two reasons. You can either try and trade it, or if you are in a trade, obviously you want to maybe reduce your risk there. So potentially get out if you think it might turn against you, or double up or whatever if it goes with you. That's up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but you need to know about it because it's definitely going to move the market, and if it's against your position, then obviously that won't be good for you. So keep an eye on that later today. You can watch it live. Ignore the first part and maybe just watch the Q&A session. Okay, so let's look at the technical summary, the indices. We'll start with that and just go to the bigger time frames. We'll go to daily today, not that it matters. So S&P is down 1.1%. DAX down, 4.37%. That's huge. FTSE down 3.38%. Euro stocks down 3.74%. So let's find out why. There's some geopolitical risks, obviously, that moved the market yesterday. There was huge moves in a bunch of stuff. So as you can see, there's a basic summary. Dollar retreat on Powell and Mnuchin's congressional testimonies. The pound outlook is bearish because Brexit talks have some rising tension with Europe. And the EU summit may push the euro higher if officials agree on a coordinated strategy. That's the news for this morning, according to this guy, Dimitri. Zabilan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's his view. I don't share his view necessarily on everything, but he's an analyst, so they tend to know more than I do. A lot of times with the dollar, it just, I mean, for him to say it may retreat ahead of the actual testimony, it's a little, I don't know, it's a bit of a fortune cookie moment in my opinion. How can you predict what someone's going to say before they say it? Now I know there's selling pressure in the Haven linked greenback. We all know that the dollar is under pressure. But that dollar pressure could be alleviated. We don't know. You can't say ahead of time that it's going to be alleviated or it won't be alleviated, that it will get worse. It could amplify selling pressure. I don't know if that's true. You can't predict that, you know. And obviously if you know what he's going to say, sure, but in the Q&A session there's no way to know. You don't know what questions are going to be asked, and consequently you don't know what answers he'll give. So this is, I don't know. I won't take this as gospel. Let's just put it that way. Don't make this a hard and fast rule that the dollar's definitely got to go down. I expect more of a whipsaw effect from that. The dollar's already gone down, and the pound as well, and everything. Gold, we saw a huge move in gold. So anyway, let's go back to that, and let's just go back. We'll look at the commodities. Gold is actually up 0.55%. Oh yeah, but it had a huge drop yesterday. Silver is up 1.96%. Then Forex, Euro is very neutral. Euro dollar neutral. Pound dollar neutral. This is neutral, neutral, neutral. Oh wow, dollar CAD also on 0%. Neutral and neutral. Who would have guessed? So everything's basically neutral. We had some good moves on gold and silver yesterday. Now, if you were paying attention, you could have capitalized on that. I didn't actually trade yesterday, so I missed that big move, unfortunately. But, you know, it happens. I had some things to do, so I was actually also coding a new indicator for myself. That's just off topic, but one of the things I was doing yesterday. Anyway, that's it for the technical summary and the economic calendar. Let's move over to your client and look at the charts. So we'll start with gold. You saw this huge push to the downside, hit this key support level down here. It broke through the first one completely. Like it touched it and then broke through it. It was pretty good. Obviously, if you had my indicator on, you would have seen the move coming because, you know, 1, 2, 3, get in there, slight drawdown, bam. And then you had this big push, which was, where's that little cursor thingy? So if you got in on the doji of the third candle or on the open of the fourth candle, which is the same value about, to that is 4,100 points, so 410 pips that this beautiful little indicator could have given you for free. Yeah, I mean, that's free money right there. I think it broke this trend line first, kept going, broke the second trend line, kept going. Even if you didn't have the indicator, you should have seen the break on the second trend line, because that's the bigger picture trend line that we've spoken about for weeks and weeks and weeks. It finally broke, so there it is. You know, this line, it broke that one, so a big move was going to happen regardless. Now where it will go now, I can't say. More likely to go down, but with gold being a commodity with intrinsic value, it shouldn't just collapse on its own. You know, maybe if it does keep going, we should see it reach this level potentially, and I expect it to then rebound from there, but I don't even know if it'll reach that level. We'll have to see. It could just come up and then break this line to the upside now. So yeah, I mean, keep an eye on that. Obviously, if you had the opportunity or saw the opportunity there, and you made some profit, then good for you. But I missed it. I wasn't trading at the time, so that was unfortunate. Anyway, we'll move on. So Aussie yen, that's in a channel moving sideways at the moment, within the channel. So yeah, I mean that should keep going the way it's going. Let's just remove these because those are old indicators. Objects. Okay, so it's still within the channel. So we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, I can't buy here. It needs to come up to this line, and then we can short it or break the line so we can long it. So yeah, this held, came down, and then kept going. So it's right within the support zone, though. So it makes you think that it might not push through, because it tried there, and it didn't push through. Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on this level. It wants to break through, but it's kind of struggling. So obviously we'll need to keep an eye on this line. I'll draw it in as a key line as well. There. It's right on the 61.8 from the previous move, if you recall the bigger overall picture move. It's right on that line, so we could see it. We could see it push down again. Turned right on the 50 as well, if you notice that. Went to this 61, which is also the 38.2 on this move. So yeah, quite interesting. But we'll need to keep an eye on this level. It might hold, which means it'll keep coming down again. So something to keep an eye on. This is the Kiwi dollar. Obviously, you can't trade that at the moment. We've got this whole flagpole effect and a slight little channel forming. Very small channel forming there. So, I mean, what do you do with that? Wait for the breakout, obviously. But with a big move like this, it needs to recover a little. So that's what it's doing now, consolidating to the side. So yeah, I mean, what do? You wait for it to give you an indication of which direction it wants to go. I think bigger picture, it could still go down to these levels or that one. But for now, it's right at this key level, so let it just consolidate a little, and then once it's decided what it wants to do, it will break through, and then obviously we can look to enter the market again. I think it'll probably go short, but you know, it does need to recover first. So by the time it does go short, it could be, you know, already moved up to there somewhere and then short again. So you can't really say. Or it could just do what it did here and make like a you know, that parabolic thing that they talk about. It could just do that again and recover to where it was. You see that quite often as well. Okay, so Aussie Loonie, Oddcat, we're looking at a ranging market. Yeah, speaking of ranging market, so this little thing I built yesterday, this little indicator that I wrote yesterday, is made for ranging markets. It's basically it's like a Bollinger Band, but then it also has multipliers, so you can add extra levels. That's you know, ratios of the Fibonacci. So let's make this one 38.2, and then the next one 50, and then add that. And then for a ranging market, this is perfect. Now, between 38.2 and 50, that is the golden zone. If you've ever heard of the golden zone, if it touches there, you know, in a ranging market that it has to come back. So if you've got a ranging market, you just add like a Bollinger Band. Mine is an extended Bollinger Band that adds an extra 38% or 38.2%, you know, similar to Fibonacci ratios, and 50, or you can do it 23.6 at 38.2. Now the 38.2 and the 50 is known as the golden zone. So if you have price up there in a ranging market, it's a very nice place to go short, or you know, if it's down there, it's a nice place to go long again. So the key there is to always try and, you can either trade it to the opposite direction, which is riskier, or just trade it to the median line, which is kind of what you're supposed to do. You know, price needs to be at median, at fair value, and if it's ranging, it'll bounce between the extremes, but sometimes it won't. Sometimes you'll see it bounce down. Okay, this one touched the 38, came down, went up, came down, touched the middle, and then kept going up, because this was still in an upward trend. Here it started ranging. So here it goes down and up, but it doesn't always go all the way up, because, you know, if there was a big move pushing these bands apart, it might not make it all the way to there. That's why to be safe, you would take the trade from this point to the middle, and then again from this point, sorry, it's moving, I didn't choose it, this point to the middle, and then again from this point to the middle, then from the top end to the middle. If you make like 20 pips every time, or 40, or whatever the case may be, this one to the middle is 25 pips. And then this one to the middle is 37 pips, give or take. You know, in a ranging market, you could just keep doing that. And, you know, look at this. This is the prime example. It came up to the middle and then went all the way down again. So if you took it to the middle, to the median line, you would have been fine. And, you know, with this indicator as well, you can change the period to, let's say, 20. That will obviously change all of this as well. So, I mean, it's a fun thing to do, to play with, but that's only for a ranging market. If you've got a trending market, then obviously that won't work. So, yeah, I think that's what's gonna be our opportunities today is ranging things, as well as the move on the dollar when Jerome Powell testifies. We could see this range as well, slightly to the side on the CHF. Aussie Kiwi, I mean, this is creating a bit of a channel to the upside. So if you put this on there somewhere, you've got a bit of a channel going. So, I mean, it looks like it wants to break to the downside, but that would be in line with the overall downtrend. So this is a short-term trend within the overall long-term trend. So if you go from there to there, you'll see we've got the overall downtrend, then this is within that trend. So if it breaks this line, I would definitely look to go short on it. Definitely look to short that. But, you know, wait for the break first. It's also respecting this 50% retracement line. So maybe just keep an eye on that as well. But yeah, it should break through, and, you know, it could potentially make the entire channel as profit up to this zone. Remember this key zone we drew in a while ago. If it does break, it'll stop there, so, or just above it. So watch that. but that could be a potential trade there. Aussie dollar, same thing. Everything on the dollar looks the same. Euro Aussie, that's within a channel. So you'll see a trending slide. Oh no, that's ranging in the bigger picture, isn't it? It's actually gone back to that previous trend line we had. So when it faded, it came down beyond the levels we expected and then kept going and obviously reversed. Oh wow, right on that line. Right on the key level there. That's the beauty of support and resistance lines. If you draw them in, you can almost be guaranteed that it's gonna reverse on one of them. You don't know which one, but you could always trigger on one or just above it. So yeah, that's made a recovery back to the upside, but didn't quite make it all the way. And then came down again. So this big push there, that's a rejection wick. I wouldn't go long at this point. I'll rather keep an eye on it for a bit more and see what it wants to do. We've got some other speeches coming as well, so that could push it. This one, I think bigger picture is also ranging at extreme levels. So if you look at this level there, and this level there, you've got it ranging within that zone. So I mean, yeah, I could potentially trade this as a ranging market, but for now I'll just keep an eye on it. This one's still within the channel. Still a lot of sell pressure to the downside, or more specifically buy pressure on the yen. You'll have seen the same thing potentially here on the Aussie. Same thing, buy pressure on the yen is causing this channel. You know, safe haven commodities, that's why. So euro dollar, we've got that whole long flagpole thing on the euro dollar as well. Pound dollar got a bit of a flagpole. It actually didn't do as bad as the rest. You know, it had a slight recovery before doing the second collapse. So it looks like the pounds, even though there's pressure for the Brexit talks, it did better than the euro, which is quite surprising. I think overall, let's look at the move from the start to the lowest point. I might be wrong. That is 130 pips. And this one had, oh no, that's just because it zoomed out, 174 pips. So I was wrong. The pound collapsed even worse, which actually makes sense because Brexit, you know. Yeah, so that's a bit of a sore one for the pound, but you know, their troubles haven't stopped. So another flagpole on the loonie as well, the Swissy, odd little zigzagging effect it has. Dollar yen, ironically, it recovered and then came down, and now it's at a key level. That level, it's right on it. So doesn't know what it wants to do, but I mean, with the dollar growing against the other currencies, I think the yen was the one that held the best because it is still a safe haven currency. I think that might be why we don't really see much movement on the dollar yen anymore. Is because both of them are considered, you know, safe haven. Now the yen has always been a safe haven currency as well as the Swissy, and then the dollar is considered a reserve currency. So you know, if you don't have anywhere else to put your money, you would put it in the dollar against a weaker currency, and then just collect on swaps and stuff, so or interest. So that's why it's a reserve currency. But the yen is a safe haven currency, so they kind of just balance out most of the time. I think we've got the Kiwi yen doing something similar. Kiwi losing strength against the yen. But this is more ranging at the moment. We had a flagpole and now it's consolidating. We looked at gold already. Let's look at silver instead. This is the silver daily. We had a breakout of the triangle to the downside yesterday. So obviously, same thing that you saw in gold. You know, if you look at gold, same thing we saw here, breakout. Bear in mind this is the hourly chart, and this is the daily chart. It's the same thing. It's also a breakout and a move to the downside. Now, doesn't this kind of look like a recovery of a bubble? I don't know if you've seen bubbles before. In the past, maybe I can pull it up. Maybe I can pull something up for you. Let's do a quick look. Give me a second and I'll see if I can pull something up. Okay. Just waiting for it to load. It seems a bit slow, but we'll wait for that to load up. There we go. So I'll shift to this quickly. You can have a look at that. This was the Bitcoin bubble. So we had this big move. We had this big move way back. When was this? 2018 or sometime? 2017. Sorry, it's been a while. We had this huge move, and then it had to recover to this level. Now, if I remove this, yeah, I don't use TradingView often. Really, stop it. If you draw in something similar to what I have on, there we go, parallel channel. So looking at something like that, you'll see, and just move this up. You see it was trading at fair value for a while. And then that big hype on Bitcoin, where everyone and their grandmother was buying Bitcoin, came. This is a weekly chart, remember that. That happened, and then it pushed up, and it was a bubble, and that bubble burst, and it returned to actually the bottom of the channel again. This channel's not perfect, obviously, as you can see. It needs to be more like that. Something there. Sorry, there, something like that. Should put it on. But anyway, it recovered to within the channel, and then sideways consolidated out of the channel. That is, in my opinion, what we're looking at here on the on this. So it's in the channel now. should reach this opposite line on the channel. So obviously something like this. Move to the downside, should reach the opposite side of the channel, to within the, to get back to this trend line. And then once it's hit that, if it respects the trend line, it should push further up, like this, small candles. If it doesn't respect the trend line and breaks through, then we're looking at a consolidation sideways until such time as it starts getting a reason to move again. So, I mean, from a weekly perspective, let's just look at that. Yeah, from a weekly perspective, we could move this a little bit, but I'm not going to move it now. I think that's fine for now. Just look at it from this point of view. So this is what I expect to see on silver at the moment. A move here, then if it respects this line, it could have a big push up, But this is it recovering from what is, in my opinion, the coronavirus bubble on gold and silver. Now, gold and silver, I should close this chart, it's just confusing me. Gold and silver at the moment are considered the most safe haven currencies you can get, I think, commodities. And silver tends to move quite a lot with a very small margin. So, with a margin of $250 odd for a potential move in a day. Well, yesterday was a bit of a fluke. Let's take it. Actually, the ATR is 93 points. That's a potential daily move, 93. So let's take it from this end, let's say from there to there, 120. If you stayed in for 3 days, 230. I mean, the size of your lot size or potential lot size on a small margin like that is just huge. You could trade so many, especially if you have a higher leverage account. You can do so many large trades on silver and then just make insane amounts of money, or potentially lose insane amounts of money. The flip coin effect is always there. So yeah, but I think this is recovering to this line, and once it does, it could potentially go up again, unless the line breaks. If the line breaks, it could consolidate to the side, like we saw on Bitcoin. Let me just show you again. Remember this? It moved to the side there, so it came down, it held, came down again, broke it, and then consolidated all the way. So, I mean, this is quite a while ago, quite some time ago, but it's finally starting to look like it's recovering. I don't usually look at Bitcoin. I used to do cryptos, but I did altcoins back in the day. I didn't specifically do cryptos. I mean Bitcoin. I didn't do Bitcoin. I only bought Bitcoin to be able to buy other coins. So there you go. It's a false breakout to the downside, and then a move back up. Yeah, I mean, it was consolidating hard until it collapsed, brought it back to fair value, and then they couldn't break this trend, and it pushed up again. So it could reach that level again someday, but not anytime soon, because there is fair value. There is a need for Bitcoin, I think, in the future. There's already a lot of people using it, but that's beside the point. We're actually looking at silver at the moment. I think this is going to recover to the bottom of that channel. So anyway, I think that's it for this video. I don't know if I've covered everything. If I have missed something, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and cover it tomorrow. Maybe do an update video later today. I am gonna do some more coding. There's another indicator I want to build, so I'll probably be doing that today and not trading again until Jerome Powell's testimony. I could maybe see myself doing something there, unless I just get too busy for that. Then I'll just let it go as well. But yeah, I hope this helps. Good luck and enjoy.